Okay. What it is. I'm going to tell you what it is. It's Tom's Coins at it again. Yeah. And so I have to begin to show the things that I got in the den. Anyway, guys, Tom's Coins, he's making all these videos. They're nice, fancy videos, really cool videos about his fun-filled Eisenhower dollar infatuation. And it's not just Eisenhower silver dollars that the man is talking about. He's talking about undermelt. And the thing is, I know for a fact I have another one of these somewhere, but I can't remember for the life of me where. I couldn't find it in the storage place, so. But I know I got 3 sets. Here is the original blue envelope Ike. Very fun. Eisenhower 71. Oh man. So what is an Ike and why do we like? Well, there's a lot to like about Eisenhower dollar coins. If you get one in your change, you're $1 ahead. But if you get one of these special ones made as San Francisco Mint exclusives in the 70s, well, you're going to be an even happier camper. This is also the bicentennial quarter that you want, because it's actually silver, unlike all that other stuff that you find in your pocket change. I think they made 2 million of them, so it's about as rare as a Colombian half, right? But you'll probably see a lot more Colombian halves than you will those 40% quarters. People tend to cabbage onto them for some reason. Well, it's the only year we made 40% silver quarters. There is no other year, so you've completed the whole set right there. All right, guys. So what Tom's Coins video was about, it wasn't just about having Ikes. It was about having Ikes under melt. So what we have to find out is what's the melt value on an Eisenhower dollar. All right. Let's do that. Let's do that math. We'll go to coinflation.com. Coinflation is our friend till the end. Okay. $10.22, right? Oh, that's a Kennedy. Dang it. We want the Ike. Ike's a little less so. $8.93. All right. There we go. So we paid over melt for this, but I did buy this back when silver was high. When I bought it, it was well below melt. Every time I see an Ike below melt, I buy it. So if I have one, it was below melt. Oh man. Now that's a proof from 72. Ooh. Now, what a lot of people don't know about these coins, right, is that they are actually clad. Yeah. The ore, or the coin itself, is not 40% silver. It's actually, if I remember right, the core of the coin's 90%, and then the rest of it's like 10% silver. Yeah. So it's a very strange alloy. Now, that I could have that wrong, but I remember reading that. So these are technically clad coins because they don't have a consistent alloy. The alloy changes depending on which part of the coin. Now, another coin like that is the Morales peso. That's 10% silver, but actually it isn't consistently 10% silver. A lot of that coin is just copper nickel. So keep that in mind when you get those things. They are not all pure 10% silver. They are made of a couple different alloys. Yeah. All right, let's see if we got any more of these bad boys. Apparently, my main man, Tom's Coins, is a big avid collector of the Ikes, and I have like 50 of the non-silver ones that I got for $50 at the bank for novelty pieces and stuff to give the, the new coin collectors you run into, the kids and such, get them interested. Here's one. But if I see one under ballot, I'll grab it. This one was $10. That's close enough. At the time, I think silver was higher, so yeah. A little bit less silver than $0.50. The ASW is 0.3164, right? So if you compare that, right, to the ASW of an actual 90% half, which is 0.3617. Now that's a number you should have memorized if you're a cool kid and you go to Silver University. So 0.3617 is a fair bit more silver, but not a huge amount more silver than 0.3164. And the difference, again, is a war nickel. So if you take one, boy, this is a theme I'm finding with this U.S. coinage. Have you guys noticed this? A war nickel's difference, right? Because that's the difference between a silver dollar and a dollar in 90% junk is a war nickel's difference. So if you took one of these and one of these, you'd have the same amount of silver as a $0.50. So that's cool. That's really cool. So that means if you were collecting 40% Ikes and war nickels, you could walk up to somebody and say, I've got the same amount of silver here, right, as a 64 Kennedy. Right here. And you would be within a few hundredths of it'd actually be a little heavy. But these two coins here have the same amount of silver as this coin here. And that's pretty neat. That's pretty neat to think about because the same notion works for the silver dollar coins. So let me show you what I mean there once I get this. So this coin right here right has the same amount of silver as two of these coins, right, plus one war nickel, and you're going to be just about right on the money. Now, in order to have the same amount of silver as this coin, you would have to have two of these each, two each. So you'd have to have two war nickels and 2 Eisenhowers, and you would have a silver dollar's worth of silver. So that is fun. Isn't that fun, guys? So that means the war nickel can actually be a very valuable way to trade. And actually, since I'm looking at this, let me do some mathematicals, because it would seem to me that 2 of these 40% halves, all right, should equal 1 Ike in silver weight. Let's test that theory, and it's going to be real easy to do that because we can just look at the 40% Ike on here. It's $4.17, and if we take $4.17 times 2, okay, it doesn't work out, I don't think. Nope. So now I'm actually have to do the math. So, yeah, and I'm just checking here. I'm not saying this is a fact. Well, I should have known better than this, huh? Yeah, it's like 0.29, so 0.3 instead of 0.3164. So really, there's no real place in your world for these Kennedy halves as far as trade that really puts you on par with the 90%, whereas the Ikes actually have a pathway, which is 1 Ike and 1 more nickel equals 1 90% half dollar. And silver weight, which means 2 would equal 1. Well, actually, you'd have to have 2 of these plus a war nickel. So you'd have to have 3 war nickels and 2 Ikes to equal 1 silver dollar. Yep, that's the math. And we can show that if you want. So you'd have to have 3 war nickels and 2 Ikes, and it would equal the silver in 1 of these bad boys. All right, well, there you go. So there, yay, we did stuff. 3 war nickels and 2 Ikes equals 1 silver dollar. That's pretty cool, man. And guys, I'm gonna keep this one short and sweet. Tom's Coins, you're on notice, sir. I have done a response video, and yeah, I'm glad you got all them Ikes, man. Like I said, I grab them if they're under melt. I don't pay melt for them. It's just like this stuff right here. You know, if I can get it under melt, I'll grab it. What are these melting at? See what they're melting at. See if we did okay here. So you gotta realize the price of silver is a moving target. So when I say I'll buy it under melt, that means I'll buy it under melt if it's under melt. But it doesn't mean melt holds still for me. Okay. $4.18 is what they melt for. So we did fine on that one. But, you know, maybe I bought one in the day that I paid too much for. Let's see. This one was $2.86. So that's under melt. Most of them I get under melt, you know, like even by today's standards, because usually I don't buy 40% if there's a bunch of good stuff out there. But if I'm desperate to get some silver, get my silver fix, right? Then that's when I'll go and I'll see, oh, okay, they got war nickels, you know. This I bought when silver was $35 an ounce. So $1.20 a war nickel was a really good deal back then. So if I get some war nickels under melt, and when I could have got no silver at all, of course I'm going to grab the war nickels. Same thing with these. If I can get them under melt. Now, there's a guy in New York who was trying to sell me several rolls of these, and he wanted $2 over melt per roll. And I'm like, I'm not going to buy them. I can get them under melt all day. They're there are times where you can go to a major website and get these under melt. Same thing with war nickels. Okay. Now, if I had to pick between this and a war nickel, I'm going to pick the war nickel every time. Because like I told you, the war nickel actually has utility, and it has more silver in it per cent than any coin I've shown you. More silver per cent. So there's 5 cents, right? So, some people, they try to justify buying ASEs, right, instead of generics. And one of their justifications is, right, is if silver drops to 0, right? If silver ever dropped to $0 an ounce, right, which has never happened in all of human history, well, this is still worth $1. That's their justification. But even if that's your justification, if you had 20 war nickels, right? So I'm going to do the math for you. 20 war nickels, right? The ASW on that is 0.053 or 0.0563, right? So I take my calculator, I put in 0.0563 times 20. I get 1.126 ounces. And there it is. Proof in the pudding. A 20 war nickels has more silver in it than an ASE. Okay. I want you to think about that for a second, because that's not true of other coins. Okay. Let's do the silver dime, right? So this is one of the ones you should have memorized. You can go 0.719 if you're doing the bulk rate. I'm going to go 0.7234 and assume all of ours are in mint condition. Are you ready? So if I have 10 times 0.7234, that's $1 a face. Well, you see the problem already, don't you? You got 0.7, so it's 0.07234, sorry. You got 0.7234 ounces, so not even 3/4 of an ounce. You see the difference between war nickels and dimes? We can do the same thing with quarters. Quarters, 0.1818. Go 0.18 times 4. That's where we're messing up there. All right. .7272. All right, and then 3617. Is 0.7234. So there you go, guys. See the problem? All right. Now let's do those silver dollars. We already know it's not, guys. Silver dollars are an ounce. So yeah, 0.7734 is not 1. So that's real easy. So actually, your war nickels are pretty badass if you can get them under melt. That's all I'm saying. Have an amazing day. Think happy thoughts. Find all the collectibles of your dreams and oh, whatnot. And have a great day again, because I have to say it again. Ciao and say bye. Bye.